Hello everyone, my name is Chow Guardian, and welcome back to more Pikmin. We finished up at the impact site, so now we're going to go back to the distant spring, which we haven't been back to for quite a while, so we should probably get started. And the first thing we really should do is start getting that wall down. We really need to get that stone wall down, otherwise we really can't explore a lot of this place. So let's do that today, and thankfully, I do that today. Wonderful! And first off is getting blues, 60 of them to be exact. And we're going to be working on that bridge puzzle that I wanted to finish beforehand, but unfortunately got interrupted thanks to the stupid snitch bug. And by the way, the snitch bug's going to be very annoying, as I've said before, as we keep going through this. But for now, I decide to have the blues work on the bridges again. And then I get yellows and reds, so that way, one, I can destroy that wall, A. And B, also now that the shoewigs are gone, I can just safely leave them alone, no problem. Which is why I killed them beforehand. Because if I didn't kill them, they would have been very big deal if I just left them alone and then start getting chomped. I learned my lesson from last time to make absolutely sure everything is safe before I even try leaving Pikmin out on their own. I learned that lesson, and I'm not repeating the mistake again. But I get 10 yellows, thankfully. This is really the only bombable thing I really need to do for this day, so I don't really need a lot of yellows. And I just decided to make the rest of them red since I'm going to need reds anyways. And thankfully the bombs do respawn over there, so I don't have to go all the way back to that other side where that bull bear was beforehand, then across the bridge. And I have 4 bombs, which, even though I don't have to bomb anything, they can still be very helpful to have bombs, just in case for later. Now with this, I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking. I think what I was probably thinking at the time was that I really didn't want to deal with the 2 Wollywogs that are up ahead, and I didn't want to leave my Pikmin over there because there's also a swooping snitch bug on the other side. So I didn't want to have to deal with a bunch of enemies while these blues were working on the bridge, so I kind of just waited around and did a bunch of stuff. You can break this tree branch, which I don't exactly know what's the purpose of doing it, but I just kind of did it and found that it really led nowhere. No, really wasn't going to use it at all, so it's kind of pointless, and I'm just waiting here for the blues when I could have just used the bomb rocks on the black wall and tried to risk it. But I'm guessing I really didn't want to deal with any Wollywogs, because, like I said, and we've seen many times, Wollywogs are a huge pain, a very huge pain to deal with. And again, you'd think the blues could just go in the water instead of have to, make this bridge and make things more complicated. But no, you have to do it this way. I don't understand why, but you have to do it this way. It's kind of annoying, and I really gotta question sometimes what's the point of them being able to go in the water when sometimes they decide not to go in the water. It's weird. I don't get it, and I don't understand why that happens sometimes. But I decided to have all 60 of my blues carry this one ship part back. And next, I would like to destroy the bone wall that's up ahead. So I kind of wasted a bit of time instead of just doing that immediately, but I really didn't want to deal with those Wollywogs, so it is what it is. Could have done better, but now I know for next time. So we go over there, and the problem with these Wollywogs in particular is that there's a slant and they're near the water. So if I go and fight them, there's a chance my Pikmin might drown. It might make them easy Pikmins for Wollywogs. And even when I'm doing this and trying to destroy the wall, yeah, the Wollywog's still going to try and come after me, which is kind of annoying. So at this point, I decide I'm just going to wait for my blues to be finished with grabbing the ship part, and then I go fight the Wollywogs. Will it take a bit more time? Yeah, it will, but at least my Pikmin will be safe, and that's more so what I'm concerned about. But again, there's also the swooping snitch bug that I will have to worry about if I just leave them alone to try and destroy the wall, which is, again, a really big pain in the butt. This is very much why I don't like dealing with swooping snitch bugs. This is exactly why I don't like dealing with swooping snitch bugs, wollywogs, and just a lot of enemies here. They're just really annoying to deal with in a lot of situations. It's like, sometimes you'll have the shearwigs at the bridges, sometimes they have wollywogs at the walls, and they'll always be in the water. Unlike beforehand in the Forest Naval, where sometimes they'll be on land, and most of these are in the water, so you're really going to need blues for this. And there's another wall right there that has another ship part, as you can see over there, that I'm going to need blues for. So that means you really are going to have to deal with these wollywogs. Thankfully, only this one is really going to attack the Pikmin for the black bone wall. So, as soon as I deal with this one, I won't have to worry about the other Pikmin being in danger, outside of the swooping snitch bug, which you'll see in a moment. But again, just like before, wollywogs are very, very simple-minded creatures to deal with. They always hop up in the air, they'll come down, and they'll die. Beautiful, 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 beautiful stuff. There is another ship part further on the path that Wollywog is on, but I decided not to get it today. I kind of wish I got it today, but I didn't. And unfortunately, I lost a Pikmin right there. Got barely crushed. But I could have got another part today, and I didn't decide to do that. But letting you know, I do come back for that part later on. Just not today, of course. I do wish there was a faster way. I would like to know if there's a faster way to take these guys out. I'm gonna assume it's something like a speed run. They just kind of avoid fighting these enemies entirely. I think a speed run for this game is about 6 days in total, I believe. Which should be just getting every single part in a single day. And having to revisit the impact site once, finishing the other 3 areas, and then doing the final area all within the same day. So I'm gonna assume you avoid fighting them. And by the way, there's the stupid snitch bug where I was talking about, where you're working on the bridge and then the snitch bug just comes in, snatches your Pikmin, which is why I immediately caught it immediately. Thankfully, when it didn't grab any Pikmin, I just immediately attacked it and just had them all jump on its back and destroy it perfectly. But anyways, I'm gonna assume a speedrun of this game probably avoids fighting most enemies. I'm going to assume, since most, if not almost every single enemy in this game that's not a boss typically doesn't have a part. The closest thing that might be an exception is probably the bread bug in this game, but that's really about it, and I consider them a much more special enemy, considering you only fight them once and never again. So I do wonder if there's faster ways for taking out enemies when you have to. I would be genuinely curious. It would also make me curious about how people deal with the burrowing snagger fight, especially if they get unlucky. I kind of wonder how you deal with that. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever really speedrun a game. Like, I think I've tried Super Mario Sunshine, but I never really got that far, or with many attempts, because I tried to learn some of the glitches and how it works for Super Mario Sunshine any percent. And the closest thing I've actually speedrun and actually did would probably be New Super Mario Bros. Wii and just getting to World 8 and beating Bowser by any means necessary without, well, with the cannon and everything. I did try to do a 100% full run, but I only got as far as about World 3, I believe, in a single session. I believe it took me about 3 hours, I want to say. I don't remember the exact time. It was like 1 or 2 hours, but I remember it taking me quite a long time to get through it. So that's only really the few times I've actually spedran stuff, but never anything too crazy or anything official. But maybe I'll have to give it a try someday. I wouldn't mind giving it any kind of serious try, because it does sound kind of cool. But outside of stuff that sounds really cool, 1, that's a ship part back, and 2, you might be wondering why we're focusing on that bridge and that wall. It's going to be very important for tomorrow, because we'll be getting a part out of there, and we'll need both of those things down. So I decided to have reds and yellows work on that. And in the meantime, I go grab all my blues, and for the rest of the day, I decide to clear out that kind of general area, since a lot of parts are going to be in that general area after those walls and bridges. So I would like to take all those bull bears, all those puffy blowhogs. I did take out those shearwigs, thankfully, but I just like to take all those enemies out immediately, so that way I don't have to worry about them later, because they can be dangerous if I leave them alone. And thankfully, since I don't really need a lot of blues, I decide I'm going to be a nice guy and see if I can raise up a couple more yellows. Which, I mean, I don't really need to, but I would like to do that. And I get more reds for the combat as well. So, now that we're here, I will say it's a little weird looking at the distant spring and knowing that there's kind of this one kind of general area where there's just a lot of enemies kind of nuzzled in between each other. It's kind of odd. I know that's kind of like the Forest of Hope a little bit with all the billboards, but I don't know. This was kind of odd. There's just kind of this one area where there's so many enemies you have to deal with. A bunch of bull bears just kind of blocking the gate. There's puffy blowhogs. And the problem is they're all going to go down that path when they carry stuff back. So I have to take them out. And thankfully, with how much time we have left, I should be able to do it now that the shearwigs and the swooping stitch bug are gone. So now that the bridge is done, I decide to work on the bone wall, and thankfully, it'll go down much quicker with 100 Pikmin. As you can see over there, yep, there's another armored cannon beetle that we're going to have to deal with. And I decide if maybe I should go over there just to see if it'll fire rocks, and yeah, it does. So that's what it does if you don't fire a Pikmin at its cannon. Let's just call it a cannon. Let's not make any dumb mistakes like last time. Just call it a damn cannon. And that's it. And I test to see if the Pikmin are going to go to the left. Unfortunately, they're going to go to the right. And even over here, for some reason, the Pikmin will go to the right. Why? I have no idea. But it pretty much means I'm going to have to deal with all of these enemies and the puffy blowhogs. And there's two of them over here. There will be one that does actually have a ship part, but unfortunately none of these ones actually have ship parts, so these are just fodder that are meant to be killed and fly away. They do actually have corpses, though. In Pikmin 3, they do have corpses that you can actually carry back, and they do drop pellets still with a corpse. But unfortunately, it's going to be a while. Though I'm not gonna lie, it would feel really darn satisfying to bring them back. Feel really dang satisfying. And there is that puffy blowhog right there, which I should have taken out immediately before I just dealt with the bull bears. But honestly, I felt so confident dealing with bull bears that I just decided to take that one out and really not have to worry about this puffy blowhog. Where here, okay, it's a little too close for comfort, and I just decided to take it out. But the other bull bears, yeah, these guys have been kind of chumps. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just some kind of miracle run I had with bull bears, because I never get this lucky with bull bears in a single run through, all in the same session. It's crazy. And yeah, even next to the water, this guy just doesn't get to do anything. He's just kind of stunned and just dies. It's crazy. And unfortunately, while I can't get all the pellets back, I decide, you know what? Let's get all the bull bears back. I'm going to bring these shearwigs back. Might as well. Just kind of grab everything back because I don't know how much time I really have left, because we only really have, well, one, I guess. I don't know if this would be a minute or anything, but we have one more segment of time left. So I just decided to grab everything back. Pikmin almost drowns in the water. Stupid red. But everything else is nicely taken care of, thankfully. I'm able to get all this stuff back. We're ready to explore the, I guess, drier part of the distant spring, I guess I might call it, and get the last of the parts that we really need. And we have so much time left that I decide, okay, you know what? A lot of these are going to the reds, and I don't really need this many more reds. We already have more than enough. 342 in the onions, so I decided that, you know what? We have all the time in the world. I don't really want the pallets, so I'm just going to be nice and just give the bull bear to the yellows. I'm going to make absolutely sure it goes to the yellows. And yeah, we get to hear this song again. I really love the, I guess, hurry up theme, I'll call it, for the distant spring again. Super really nice and calming. Like, I can imagine going on a stroll at night and just listening to something like this and just being in awe. Just, I don't know, maybe like city lights or something. I can imagine that I'd really love to maybe I will go on a walk sometime with listening to this song. I'd love to. But yeah, I really do like this song, and thankfully, everything goes by pretty smoothly today. Couple ship parts in, I raise up some flowers, and that's it. Day over. Unfortunately, some enemies are going to spawn back since it's been a while since we got back here. But hey, I'd say this is a pretty good day. We got a couple ship parts, took a number of bridges down, which I'm very happy about, that we don't have to take down any more bridges, any more walls. All of them are pretty much taken care of, so we can just continue to explore and get all of the parts that we really need. I'm very happy. And our ship's looking not half bad either. We're almost complete. And what a shame, Shearwigs. What a shame. You get no Pikmin tonight. What a shame. 10 days since impact. Hope has begun to well up within me for the Dolphins' repair, and my own chances for a reunion with my dear family. Tomorrow, I shall go forth with a new attitude and continue my exploration in a different region. I hope that fortune will smile upon me. And I'm sure it probably will. 85 sprouted today, 22 parts, only 8 remaining with 20 days left. Yeah, I think we got this, but we're not the woods yet. Next time, let's clear out another area, why don't we? This is Chow Guardian, signing out. Ciao!